the second that the door opened, I knew. And the stench was more than I could bear. And we cut to a panel where there's just like a couple gods hung up on meat hooks.
Ooh.
Let's start. It's the year 893. Like Thor is like hanging out.
AD or BC?
AD.
Okay.
AD. And Thor is like hanging out with Vikings off the coast of Iceland. And he's like they're regaling about this story about how like this frost giant is eating their sheep, and they just killed it. And then it shows like the outside of the longhouse, and there's a giant's head on a spit, and they're just like having fun, drinking, being Vikings,
reveling after a battle.
Oh yeah, baby, telling the stories.
They killed a frost giant.
They killed a frost giant because they have Thor with them. Normal Vikings ain't doing that, but Thor is hanging out with Vikings, right? He's young.
He's one of the boys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's great. It's actually a very fun Thor to read because he's like so different than the mighty Thor we know from comics now. I mean, sorry,
he's less
from
holy
movies.
than thou.
Oh, less holier than... No, he's over the top holier than thou. Like, I'm such a big deal. I'm Thor.
Okay.
Do you know who I am?
He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, huge chip.
Smaller chip on his shoulder later.
Yes, for sure. I mean, there's a chip on his shoulder kind of a little bit always until he really gets it. But this is like... We're talking like Atlas holding the globe on his shoulder. Chip on his shoulder. Okay. So, and then we go to someone like yells or someone says something outside, and everyone runs out. Hey, what's going on? The commotion, and they show some water, and there's blood in the water. Like, oh, what's going on here? Blood in the water, and someone got killed in the water, whatever it is. And then there's a head at the beach of water, just a head decapitated. And
like it's washed up on shore or something?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. And you see it, and it's like got a look of horror in its eyes. Like it died, like, screaming. And this kind of like elder shamany woman picks it up, and she goes, "This is not a normal head. What do you see when you look in its eyes, Thor?" And Thor's like, "Those are God eyes." Like, whoa. And
you
just,
ever seen a god's eyes?
Yeah. Have you seen a god's eyes? Look at mine.
They got lifeless eyes.
Yeah, well, not exactly. But
well, this one does.
This one does have lifeless eyes for sure. So Thor is like, digital orientation on this. This god looks a little bit different. So he's got like a funny looking haircut. It's like short in some places, long in some places. There's feathers in his hair. People are like, oh, the feathered people. I've seen these.
Is it Steven Tyler?
It's Steven Tyler. Oh my God, you got
Aerosmith?
it. That's it. So the Vikings are like,
does he look like a lady? Does the dude look like
looks
a lady?
It kind of does. The haircut's interesting.
Okay.
No, it looks like it. I mean,
it looks like a dude.
It looks like a dude.
We'll pull the panel up.
Yeah, I can pull that panel up, but it's not pretty. It's a head. It's a decapitated head.
We're pulling a censored, blurred panel up.
Yeah, sure. Censor the part where it's cut off.
Just censor everything about it. Or
yeah,
like Photoshop
just the eyes.
I'm gonna Photoshop a body onto it, just like a buff body.
Yeah, that works. Works perfect. So this is like a guy with a funny haircut. He's not blonde or like light brown haired like you'd think the Scandinavian area would be, right?
Right.
And he's got feathers in his hair. And the Vikings go, oh, the feathered haired people. I've seen them when I cross the ocean. And,
ooh.
And you get the idea
these
that
are Native Americans.
This is a Native American god.
Nice.
Right? So,
well, not nice. It sucks that he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
It's cool that other pantheons are out there.
Oh, don't even get me started. I'll get to you in a second. So, Thor's like, he's like, yeah, that's a god. Well, that god didn't have Asgardian steel. Kind of trying to make light of it to make no one freaked out about that god out there. Because people are freaked out a little bit.
It's just some lot banta.
Yeah, exactly. He just got this smirk on his face. He's got his big axe in his hand. This is pre-Mjolnir Thor.
Oh.
He's
not worthy yet?
No. And you can tell he's not worthy. You know that.
You can't crack jokes around a decapitated head. That's not a very worthy thing to do.
No way.
No way.
It's not that important, but the axe has a name. It's like Bjorn or something like that. They always get names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone starts walking back in. He's chilled everyone out a little bit, but he looks back and he looks concerned. You could tell Thor's like, oh, who did that? Good. We're going to cut now to present time Thor, the Thor that we know, the mighty Thor, the Avenger. And they point out a couple times like, oh, this is Thor the Avenger, right? So we're not exactly on him yet. We have like this this shot from space where you just see like a planet and some stars, and Thor is narrating. He goes, I hear the prayer from miles away, and I know I need to come, or from like light years away, whatever it is. I know I need to come. And then it's like a little narration of someone saying like, hey, we're the last of our people. It hasn't rained on my planet for years and years and years, and when it doesn't rain soon, we're probably the last of our race. And I've heard of you, Thor, because different people have come through the spaceways and talked about you being the best god there ever was. And you can imagine Thor's name is big, how Marvel Comics, the movies, like people have heard about Thor outside of Earth, right? So she's like, all right, this is kind of like my last ditch effort. Like, if you could please come help me, that'd be great. And you get this great panel of Thor like landing on this planet, with a storm behind him, and he goes, on this day, no one will die. And he says, like I carve, what are these things called? Grand Canyon. That's the word I was looking for. I carve canyons and fill them with water. I bring storms that this earth has never seen before. I get the rivers moving again. Like he does his job,
right? And
make sure this planet is like, okay, you're good. You got water now. And he comes to the little girl who was praying, and you can't really tell it's a little girl. He says little girl to her. It's just like a bald blue person. The planet's Indigar. He's like, young girl, how come you were praying to me? Like, of course I'll help you. I'm here for you. But like, where's your gods? And she's like, oh, they're not here. We don't have gods. And he's like, doesn't sound right. But anyway, you guys are good now. I'm going to leave, right? I'm like, no, hang out with us. You just saved our lives. He's like, I got stuff to do, Avenger stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I bet you've never had, rockworm spit ale like we make here. And he's like, well, ale? Did you say ale?
So you still got a little bit of that.
He's still got a little bit of that
childhood,
I mean, it's ale.
Give me a $10 word for like that attitude.
He's got a nascent viewpoint.
I'll give you $5 for that.
Nascency?
Yeah. I'll give you $5.
Young and undeveloped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted something with an ascious in it.
Young ascious.
Thank you. Perfect.
So, he's going to stay. And he starts telling stories about all the things he does to like cheer people up, because clearly that they're on their last ditches, though he's helped them out. And he's telling stories about, chariots pulled by unicorns and the Rainbow Bridge and killing frost giants and thunder giants, and he makes them all happy. The kids go to bed, and the adults or the elders are like, thank you for doing that, really helpful. They love fairy tales. And he's like, what'd you say? They love fairy tales, all these stories. I know it's not real, but it helps him put to bed. He like grabs the guy's arm, like, don't you dare, because the guy legit thinks that these are fake, because he doesn't have gods. Like
the gods aren't helping him.
The gods aren't helping him, exactly. And Thor's like, no, those are real stories. It's kind of like a tense moment, but they're like, okay, sorry, I thought it was fake because it doesn't
de-escalate the situation.
Exactly. So he's like, all right, fine. There is no planet. It just doesn't exist where they don't have some sort of pantheon. Right. It's not true. So he flies into the sky, or throws himself via his hammer into the sky. And he's like talking to himself like, this doesn't happen. There's no way. There's no way it doesn't happen. And as you pull up to a scene, he goes, turns out I'm right. And there's a big castle in the sky. Not your typical, like English castle looking thing, but, like an alien looking castle, right?
Right.
So he's like, all right, this is it. So let me just go investigate. So he's going around the different halls, and it's just empty, quiet. And, he finds a storehouse of riches and statues and all these things. And he's finding statues of what these gods should look like, and made beds, and he's just going around, and he's like, what is going on? Where is everyone?
So the maid has still been coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
It's Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay.
Because you want it nice for the weekend, right?
That makes sense. Yeah, you could dirty up your house on Friday pretty easily.
Yeah, so easy. So
she just comes in the mornings, but clearly she's not like, they must be out of town. She just lets herself in, cleans up, lets herself out.
Yeah, I mean, she still wants to get paid, and they have like an account set up.
Direct deposit.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Naturally.
So he checks the whole place out. No one's there. No one.
Not even the maid.
Is
it Thursday?
It's Friday.
Where the hell is she?
That's the weird part.
Okay.
Right? So he's just like, all right, I guess they're gone. I don't know what's going on. He's about to leave, and he looks, and he sees like some sort of just like, I know I used the word storehouse before, but it's only the word I can think of. Like just like a store. Like he says like, I would ignore it normally, but there's chains on the door. So let me go investigate it. Black chains, to be specific. So he takes Mjolnir, smashes the chains, opens the door, and the second the door opens, he goes, the second that the door opened, I knew. And the stench was more than I could bear. And we cut to a panel where there's just like a couple gods hung up on meat hooks.
Ooh.
And we'll get that panel up. Oh, we may have to blur it.
Explicit warning.
Explicit warning. Panel. Yeah. And you're like, whoa. all the gods are dead. Now he's going through here and finding just gods in different places. Same looks on basically half of their faces, just like that dismayed, like agonizing scream. And he's like, what is going on? What is this? And just as he's about to leave, he's attacked by like a black demon dog, and he starts getting in a fight with it. And then we'll cut away. Now we move to our third Thor. This is old man Thor. So they give you a timeline on this again. I said 893 for the young Thor. This is like millennia later. They don't give you exact time. They're just like thousands and thousands of years in the future.
Some esoteric amount of time has passed.
So much, right? And this is like an old Thor. Big, long white beard. Long white hair. And he's got the Odin look. He's got a patch over the eye. And he's missing an arm, and it's replaced by the Destroyer's arm. Do you remember the first Thor movie? The big metal thing that like shoots laser beam out of his face?
Yeah. The indestructible thing.
Yeah, it looks kind of like Colossus, if you've ever...
Yeah, but like with spikes and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Spikes on the edge. Kind of like Batman things, right?
Excuse me, I seem to have been missing an arm. I will take it from this statue here. There we are.
Sure. It's Thor. At this point,
he's sitting on a throne, so he's like the king of Asgard or something.
So he is the Allfather at this point. It's Thor the Allfather instead of Odin.
So Odin's dead.
Yes, that's what would make him replace him.
Okay,
I think, pretty sure at least.
There's no like retirement plan for Asgard.
No way. 401k. Are you kidding me? 401k?
Yeah,
you're a god. Your life is a 401k. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes zero sense.
So he's sitting on the throne.
Stop spreading misinformation. Go ahead.
That's me. Spread misinformation here and there, willy-nilly. So he's sitting on the throne. And he's, again, inner monologue. He's just talking to himself, saying like, this is it. I failed. All the gods are gone. All the gods are gone. In Asgard, at least he's talking about. Empty halls. It's just me sitting here. And you're like, what is going on? What
he's the last one left?
Yeah, he's the last one left in an empty hall.
Ooh.
So he's kind of like, what am I doing sitting here? I got to do something. I'm going to go out like a god at least. Walks to the doors. Mjolnir flies to his hand. He opens the doors and shouting, and they give you a shot from the back of him with the doors opening and like a sea of those black demon dogs. You're like, whoa. Yeah. What?
But he's like got Odin's power. He's like full god now, right?
Well, enough black demon dogs will do it,
Okay.
It's action economy,
sheer
really.
Numbers. Yeah. It's a D&D reference for those of you who don't know.
Nerds be nerds. Yeah. That's what we do.
So, James, let me tell you about a comic.
Oh, please.
Yeah. There's a comic, it's a god comic similar to Thor, in which this guy gets more power the more that people like and subscribe to his channel.